What up, what up, what up? And welcome to the BlackRose Filmcast. I'm Anson, your host, and we're here to talk about Pulp Fiction. Before we get too deep into it, this is the BlackRose Filmcast, where a bunch of filmmakers, independent filmmakers, talk about movies, past, present, and future. We can do that. We're going to make that happen. With me today on our panel, we have...
Jasmine. Hi. I wasn't here last time, but I'm here now. And in the creative, right? The creative part.
Yes.
I am an actress. So yeah. Or the acting side of it.
Next.
Hi, I'm Desi. I was here both times. And
Don't call me
I'm the creative part, actress, and a little bit of writing.
And I'm Britt. I'm a director and producer. And this is the second one for me too.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm Naeem. I'm Naeem, the cinematographer, and I don't know. I'm just an avid team member. I'm just trying to make it happen. But I am excited about the podcast, although I don't know about this film so much. We'll see about Quentin Tarantino.
That's what he's going to be on.
Hear my opinion.
And y'all know me, Anson. I produce, I write. Sometimes I do some acting too. But we're here to talk about Pulp Fiction. Before we get started, I want everybody again going down. Just tell us how familiar you are with Quentin Tarantino's filmography.
So I watched a couple of his films, not all of them. I think before we were talking about that he has like 9.
He's got
9 films. And I think I've seen
Fact check.
about we'll figure that out later. I think I've seen about 6 of his films. I know I've seen all the Kill Bills.
That's most of them.
Yeah, Kill Bills. Yeah, some of the all of the Kill Bills. Django, Glorious Bastards, and then just now Pulp Fiction, which is real good.
I forgot about the chain.
Yeah.
That's
Django,
the only
right?
one that I've seen. I literally
That was
only saw
good,
Django
right?
until we just
Yeah,
watched Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
Chain was pretty good.
Yeah.
Wait,
so,
your turn.
That's what happened.
yeah, so I'm pretty good. Pretty familiar with some of his stuff. So.
I think I've seen most of them except for maybe 2 films, but I'm pretty familiar too.
Yeah, I saw all of the Kill Bills. Inglourious Bastards is probably my favorite.
Yeah, it's
Me
really
too.
good. It's my favorite.
Really.
I only got to see half of Django. I'd like to finish that one.
You'll love it.
Yeah. I was already loving it.
Right.
I'm trying to think of what the other films are, because I did see Reservoir Dogs.
Mm-hmm.
I just watched Pulp Fiction for the first time. What are the other films?
There was one I'm trying to think of. I swear there was Salma Hayek on a stage dancing with the
You're talking about
snake.
Dawn of the Dead. With Georgia Clooney.
Quentin Tarantino was in it.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know if he directed it or not. Dawn of the Dead, when they come in and she's like a vampire, and everybody they go to a bar that's full of vampires and they get murdered. and George Clooney.
Okay.
And she's in it too, and she's like a snake woman. She's like, not a snake woman. She's like a vampire woman. She seduces them. Yeah.
And then how familiar are you
And then
with
Machete's in there too. Like, what's his name? He has a taco place down on La Brea.
Danny Trejo?
Yeah, he's in it too.
Yeah,
He's in
Danny
that one.
Trejo.
Well, I
I
think
think those was
But
2 Kill Bills. There's Django.
You only seen 2 of them? You said?
did he direct Dawn?
There's
of the
Only
Dead?
2. There's 3.
There's 3.
There's 3.
Or From Dusk Till Dawn. That's what it's called. Because they're sitting there until the sun comes up because they're fighting vampires.
So have you seen all of his movies?
The way you're making it sound like you have.
So
That's the movie though.
So we got Super Noob.
I know
we
he's
got
in it.
She a Little Green. We got She Kind of Green.
Yeah.
She seen most of it.
Yeah.
And he seen damn near
All of it. Yeah.
So yeah, how we feeling about Pulp Fiction though, y'all? I actually really fucked with it.
I really like it. It's really funny.
I was very surprised by it.
Yeah.
I really liked how they started with the end, but you didn't know that's what
Right.
it was until it got there. That full circle moment.
Yeah.
That's really cool how they did that.
Yeah.
But it was still like happening during the first day.
It was close to the end.
Yeah. Close enough to the end.
But no, that's nonsense. See, this is my problem with the Quentin Tarantino stories. What are you guys talking about? Look, okay. John Travolta had other stuff to do that day. Like, they left and dropped off that briefcase to Wallace. And he was just then making the deal with Bruce Willis. You know what I'm saying? It's just the way the story was told. It's like, that happens in the beginning and happens at the end, sure. But he chose to tell the story, like, broken up, and that's fine. But at the same time, it seems like that's an interesting scene, so we're going to open it open with it, and then at the same time it kind of has that whole speech by Sam Jackson who kind of defines why, like, what was going on with some of the characters in the story. So they put it at the end, but it's like, it's just an intense scene that was split in half for what I see is no reason. It's like, dude, like, you could have got your message across with that scene when it happened, but you cut it in half, and then they come back to it. And I'm glad to see John Travolta's back alive, because it's like, all right, before the movie's dead, we see a little more acting in John Travolta, which is nice. But it's like, why did that scene happen? And then Sam,
the order just throws you off a little bit.
I mean, yeah, it justifies why I don't see why Sam doesn't get shot by Bruce Willis too. You know what I mean? Because he's walking the earth now. But you know, and why he's still in town. But it's like, man, I don't know. It just seems like I don't see that as an ending of the film. It just seems like another part of the story that they threw in that happened to be the end.
I guess I mean, I think it was an artistic choice, and I also think that the scenes were set up as such for you to sit there and guess, because I was just wondering, okay, what happened with that couple in the restaurant, and then also if I think it was just kind of, you know, tragic that we hear about John Travolta's like whole spiel about, you know, getting out and why you wouldn't, I guess. And then it's just funny because we just saw him die because he didn't get out.
Yeah.
It's layered. It's very layered.
I will say, just to be clear, just to blanket this thing before I go on anything else, I think, you know, Quentin Tarantino is clearly a good director. He got the performances from everybody. Like, everybody was believable. I was involved in each, I don't want to say each story, over the overall story. I was involved in the whole story, and every character I did enjoy them. It was just I had a problem with the
how they structured everything.
The structure of it. You think about it, everything's like a cause and effect. You can't show the rest of one scene without something else happening. Like the dining scene, they showed that first half, but we wanted to understand how Sam Jackson got to his little, like, realization of what he wanted to do without the other part happening. See, every scene was like cutting back and forth, but you have to see something else happen first before we saw the rest of it.
But you could have just did that leaner, like in the linear storyline.
Yeah,
I also think that it builds like intrigue though.
Yeah.
So like, all right,
I
you
was
see
more
this couple,
interested,
and like she said, now you wondering half the movie like what happened to this couple, and then you're introduced to Bruce Willis's character, but it's about to follow John Travolta on a date and shit. So now you wondering, well, what the fuck happened to my nigga Bruce? But then you start seeing it. So like, I feel like they set it up like that to make you wonder about the person, and then, you know,
But it's like a Game of Thrones did, where you got like 5-6 different stories. But except with Game of Thrones,
she still ain't seen it.
no, I'm not telling what happened. I'm just saying you got 5 different stories and they all linked together, right? But in this one, it's like
all over the place.
You don't like the links.
I don't like the links. Like, the links are too insignificant for them to be like a valuable, other than the characters themselves. But maybe I shouldn't go in. Maybe we should like totally talk about the positives of it. What do you guys think about the dancing? I know it's like famous, but I didn't really think they were getting it.
It's
but
cute.
I thought it was funny.
I think that's what makes it funny, because
I'm
they
with
weren't
him on
really into the dance. They were just doing like
was just
really
for the
mellow
style.
stuff.
Nobody else was dancing.
They wasn't getting it like that.
No.
They left the trophy. I'm like, everybody else must have been trash.
But I feel like they were
wasn't hitting like
hyping
that.
it, like the way they were like, okay, we're gonna dance good, and then when they did it, it was just all like super this
mellow.
very mellow. But I loved it. That's why. So I think that's why it's so iconic.
I also, because it is a product of its time, and I don't think a lot of people know the twist like that anymore.
I recognize the twist that he was
You
doing.
can recognize it, but like, you know, that's iconic for people from that time period, because they're more closely aligned to that dance style, whereas now, to us, it's like, okay, that wasn't a big deal.
So for us, it would be a moment if we had a dance scene with, like, some twerking in it. Or if they like hit the Soldier Boy.
Oh my god!
A product of its time.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. No, I mean, I think I was really thrown by the date scene, because like I kept saying it's a setup. I knew. I was like, look, if he fucks her, that's problems. If he doesn't fuck her and she wants it, that's problems. But then they took it somewhere totally left.
Right.
So.
Did they like each other? Well, that's what I was.
Oh yeah.
The vibe.
They were getting
okay.
along.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Nah, he was definitely rocking with her too. Then he even blew her little kiss at the end there.
Like,
So
I can't have you.
Why
but
did she
here you
talk
go.
to him on the intercom when he first walked in?
Probably just watching, observing.
Yeah, why would, so okay, that's like a normal thing? I didn't know that.
it seemed like a
I
power
think
play.
you're thinking way too.
No, I'm like,
into
it was like 5 minutes where she walked in and she was like, yo, you see that bar right there? Go get something to drink from there. You see
And then
that
she was
fireplace
watching
right there?
it.
Go
Yeah.
stand next to that. And it's like, yo, he could have just walked in, read the note, walked in and got the drink, and then like she said she was getting dressed, but she was really just significant. Then she was on the intercom. It just threw me
the
off.
whole night is about what she wants.
Hmm.
She is the wife of a very powerful man. She's never empowered herself. That's why he is giving her this night from one of his cronies for her to feel special.
Power play.
It's a power play, yes. And it's also, again, product of its time. That kind of stuff is fucking new and ridiculous. Like having
intercom,
security system in your house, and being able to see it on a screen. You have to be fucking rich to have screens like
4
that.
screens.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Private room.
Full security room. Full security room.
I did feel like there was more of it was like a power move, but I didn't understand it. I'm looking for it.
I mean, have you ever like watched men in movies like that? They're like, go make yourself a drink.
Nah, I don't pay attention to what they're doing. I don't need to watch the girls.
Exactly.
Hey,
I
and
gotta write it. I gotta write it though. If I wrote it, I'll figure it out. Okay.
Of the
I'm
three
learning.
stories,
I'm learning.
of the 3 stories, which one did y'all feel like was the strongest?
Was there?
Of course,
There's Go
it was
Watch
definitely.
Bonnie situation.
There was it's 3.
I would consider it 3. Yeah.
Was it 3?
Bonnie's
It was
Definitely
like
situation.
3
Sam
acts.
and
Yeah, a couple acts. Yeah.
Sam and John Travolta was like the strongest.
Yeah, but they dominated like 2 separate acts. No,
They were more like
they started
the
in the
last
beginning.
one or the beginning? Because I'd say the beginning is more of a prequel.
Or
And it's like
prequel,
it
yeah.
encapsulates the whole thing.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think the date scene probably throws you into left field. But when I was thinking that, I think the Bruce Willis one definitely throws you into left field by the end.
For sure.
I'm like, what?
Just
Yeah, no,
right
yeah,
now.
that shit.
They just
escalated.
happened to go into the wrong pawn shop at the wrong time.
But Bruce Willis' story
That
seems
took
like
me
the
by
most
surprise.
cohesive to me. It seems like the one I can follow the most and understand. Maybe that's why I like the Bruce Willis story, just because it seems like it has a beginning, a middle, an end, and it seems like it doesn't just go off into like random like stuff. It seems like, all right, he's broke. He's about to he's taking this fall. He doesn't want to take the fall. He fakes it. He stays with his girl. This big, kingpin guy that we've heard about, Marcellus Wallace, who ain't no bitch apparently. Marcellus Wallace is like, yo, I'm gonna hunt you down and find you. So now you gotta escape town. That makes sense. But no one told me what's in the suitcase. He's in the beginning. We're in these characters with Sam Jackson and John Travolta, which is why I say that he's clearly, I guess, a good director, because I'm interested. I'm interested in these characters. I want to see what happens with them next. But it's like, all right, you're getting sent to go get something. What you getting, and why do these low level guys seem to have their hands on it? And it's just that didn't resolve. They went to the bar. They said they're gonna drop it off, and then he went on a date with his wife. He came back late. I mean, nothing really resolved with John Travolta and Marcellus. I guess they just kept working together.
Until
It's just
John
like-
Travolta has got.
It's not like a strong central plot. It's just like a day in the lives of these people who all have a singular connection to this one guy. It's like Sam and John are just working for this guy. They're just making their rounds around the city, just doing what he needs to be done, and that's like their central story. And then
Bruce Willis is one of the people that is under
that's also
Marcellus
under
Wallace's
his
thumb.
Okay.
He's not a crony. He's below that. He is one of their people that.
So the most powerful man in the show gets raped at the end.
Basically,
Yeah.
That's
knowing
okay.
like
I get
you're
it now.
not
I see
above
what's
anyone
happening
else.
here. Yeah, everybody
Basically,
gets
you're
the
not above
business
anyone else.
in LA in this story. Everybody suffers. Not suffers, but everybody has a really hard day. Because what you guys are saying, that makes total sense to me. Okay, Marcellus Wallace is the connecting piece to everything, and he's clearly making the story happen from what he's been telling people to do or does himself. But the fact that he gets raped at the end throws me on.
Yeah, the only person that seemed to have a good day was Bruce Willis.
Yep.
I was gonna say Sam Jackson Day went that.
I mean, that's what I meant. Sam Jackson. He's the only one. He's the only one that seemed to have a good day. And then I would say Sam, and then Bruce Willis was probably the luckiest one out of everybody.
Yes.
The whole time I'm watching Bruce Willis, I'm like, no, stop this shit. He going into the apartment.
That's what I'm saying. This dude
out there
is
looking
lucky.
to kill him. Yeah, he
beat that guy
lucky.
to death. He beat that guy to death, and he was supposed to throw the fight.
Yeah, that too.
Like, what just happened, man?
That's pretty fucked up.
You could have just knocked him out.
That's pretty fucked up.
Well, that's what he was trying to do.
Yeah, but because he said, I didn't even know I killed him when I got out of the car. You know, when he was in the car, he said he didn't even know he killed her. So
But with that, I love both of your reactions to the wife.
What
At the very end, when you like the
movie?
motorcycle part, you're like,
Oh yeah, bitch, she on the motorcycle.
She talked too damn much. I was
She
just
asked too
laughing
many
like,
questions.
He
Like,
had way too
started
much
to cry.
patience for her.
yeah.
yeah. I don't.
No.
It's funny because I was like feeling sorry for her in the beginning. Though.
No.
It's like,
no.
She
she's
talked
so
too much.
frustrating by
You
the
got-
Oh, I
know
knew
what
something was
situation
wrong when
you
she's
in.
sitting there like, I want a pot belly. And I'm like,
Oh, what?
She wanna
I think she was saying she was
That's
pregnant.
what I thought. I was like, oh, she
Yeah.
wants to be pregnant, or she wants a baby, or
no, I
or she just thinks that's attractive on a woman who all her proportions are normal, but that is just the bigger part.
But you know
Yes,
whatever
don't
happens
make
to
no-
women like that, most of the time
she didn't make sense to
they're
begin with.
pregnant.
Make like
damn sense. How is that
I think he just likes that she's off.
I think that's what he can.
Oh.
And that's like because he like him killing that boxer was the first time of him taking his life into his own hands.
He's dealing with people like Marcellus Wallace.
I mean, he was basically telling the story of fucking Daredevil's father, but he actually didn't die.
I say, yeah, no, that's exactly what happened to Daredevil's father. He didn't take the fall, but they got his ass.
Christopher Walken was amazing in this movie. You hear that
That story?
that story was
It was like so like impactful. At first, you're like, oh, I feel so bad,
Yeah,
and then
so
he talked.
dramatic.
Then all of a sudden, stuck it up his ass. Then I
Well,
stuck it
here's
up
the
my
thing
ass.
The whole time he was like talking about that story, I was like, this kid doesn't give a fuck about what he has to say, and then he just so cavalierly says, and he kept it up his asshole, and I'm like,
Only place he could keep.
Right? Damn, he's like, he did it for you. This is all
And
for
then-
you.
and
The very
then
end.
he does it with such a straight face, and he's like, then I carried it in my asshole for 2 years, and I'm like,
I felt like he was acting
Wow.
until that line, and then when he started delivering the asshole lines, he just sounded like Christopher.
Because you know how his voice, it just went up a level when he started
Yeah.
talking.
I'm gonna be honest for you, man.
He went full Christopher Walken on
It's
there.
been in these places. But it does justify why he has to go all the way back and run into Marcellus Wallace. That whole story justifies his ending conflict, I guess.
Yeah, you need the sentimental value. You need
Yeah.
the importance of the sentimental value, or else it's even less justified. Because I was pissed off that he was going back to the apartment anyway, understanding the circumstances.
Right.
But it's like, all right, you really love this watch. It's been in your family forever. Sentimental value makes sense.
Up the hose.
yeah, and that's part of the story. That was his art because he has a problem. If he didn't have a problem, he just left town. What kind of movie would that be?
True.
Smart
Very
people
true.
doing smart stuff.
Very
Yeah, I
true.
know.
And then that just plays to her character of he's with a dumbass.
Yeah, she's pretty airhead.
He's like, I must have broke a rib from the oral sex. Like, bitch, no, what the fuck? Like, that's a jawbone. That's not a rib. That's what you guys doing.
Yeah, they didn't seem like they were doing all that magic.
That was interesting. What's the whole bit about him in the car with the other foreign chick, and she just
Yeah,
got
that
a
was
rocks off
random.
that he
Yeah.
killed that dude. Like,
At first I thought it was going to be
I think
the
it was
same
just
shit,
coincidence.
but it just was like...
yeah, like no. Why do they seem so similar to me? Like,
I don't know, because his
the
girlfriend is
got
French.
yeah, exactly.
And his girlfriend's French, and then her in the car, she would say she was from
Colombia.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was still like a European.
Well, the accent was off to me, and I was weird.
Colombia is
Yeah.
not European.
I thought she was like Russian.
Geography is my Achilles heel. Boom. Now they all know.
Alright, Troy.
I think I think it was more of just like the morbid fascination from the taxi driver, I guess.
Yeah.
Just kind of setting up the fact that he killed someone and he didn't even know it. So I think that's why her character had to be so like into it, and also for him to kind of deliver like you know, how much he doesn't care at this point. Like, a normal person, even if you're running away from something, would be freaking out that you just killed someone.
Yeah.
And I think her being fascinated by it is so that, like, the audience knows, like, she's not gonna, like, do anything to put him in jeopardy, you know, because she doesn't care. She's actually, like, all for this. You know, but if it was a taxi driver listening to that, and then we're set up with the information that he doesn't know about, and she was totally, like, normal and against it, she would have driven him to a police station. So.
Did he have her waiting?
Yeah.
That's what.
Yeah. He probably called a taxi and had it sitting out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, and then she's listening to the fight going on inside, and she finds out about that. But like you said, if she wasn't actually interested into that, then yeah, that wouldn't have worked out for him. He probably wouldn't have got home.
Okay. So some exposition and some getting him from point A to point B makes sense, I guess. I can rock with it. I just wondered about it more than anything else.
I think it was also just an opportunity to have, like, a non-typical character.
In the scene.
Though I would like to know, like, the, you know, Colombians, and if they are, like, as squeamish as Americans or not. Or if that's just typical.
Did Uma Thurman get a foot massage from that guy?
That's the real question.
She said that story wasn't true, and that men are just as bad gossipers as women.
But she said all she did was shake his hand the one time at her wedding, but then she was like dancing with Oprah
Nah, bro.
came into the room.
He clapped cheeks.
But then she mentioned
But
that
that's what I'm saying. He must have
she
did
doesn't
something.
know.
He must have did something.
But she also mentioned that whatever that was going on between those two is their business,
her
so
business.
something else might have happened. And then
I feel like that was a power play too.
I think the short stories were definitely enough for me not to necessarily want a congruent story the whole time. I just felt the lack of it. But I think the fact that they kept switching with interesting scenarios, even though some scenes seems like they were just kind of drawn out, but it kept my attention. So the continuous interesting scenarios instead of like stale moments, I think that helped me to watch it for over 2 hours without me fully getting some kind of theme.
have you seen it? Like many Quentin Tarantino movies, he loves drawn out scenes.
Oh my gosh, yes.
That's his shit.
Those scenes that just keep you anticipating and waiting and like freaking out.
Like when they walk down that he got the sword, right, and he starts walking back downstairs to the basement of the pawn shop. He's gonna put his hand on that door. I'm just like, yo, do the Reservoir Dogs where they cut the ear off and you don't see it, and it's like, oh, the guy's screaming. I wonder how it looks, but it's like, nah. This guy's watching. This guy's out here stroking. This guy's drooling. And I'm like, oh man, Bruce Willis do something with his sword. And I'm surprised the cop didn't grab the gun faster. But that scene is interesting.
I mean,
It
he
took a
caught
while.
with his pants around his ankles.
Yeah.
Literally, so,
He's like, you lose a hand or
he
you
saw that
lose
his hand was like that close to the gun. He was just looking at it. He was like, oh no.
And Bruce was
I reach for it.
No.
I would reach for it,
Like, go
even with
ahead.
my dick out, because like you still are like 5 feet away from me with a sword.
Yeah.
True, but I mean, one's gonna get chopped off out of your hand.
Yeah.
He still has to.
Which one you want? Which one you want? Either way, this was gone.
Yeah. They shouldn't have put the Gimp in charge.
All right, look, I want to talk about one little thing real quick. Quentin Tarantino and the word nigga.
He didn't say
No,
nigga.
not
He
nigga.
said
Nigger.
Oh, you know they were
With the herb.
they were dropping down.
Sam said nigga a lot.
Sam said nigga a lot, but I'm like Quentin wrote those lines, so
Yes.
like I know
And he said it the most.
he did.
He said it the
It was
most.
with so much conviction.
But he always talks about how people
If he
talk
didn't write it,
in
I'd
life,
be
though.
amazed.
He always mentions that, how people really talk in life behind closed doors.
But that's what he was
said
saying.
that about Django. People got mad
Yeah.
about him. He's like, don't you think they said that in the South at that time behind closed doors? So he's probably just doing the same thing for...
No, yeah, he's
Reservoir Dogs.
period accurate, but he's also really comfortable with it.
He's very, very comfortable.
So like, it just has to be addressed, you know.
Yeah.
I ain't mad at it.
I mean, he had to look Samuel Jackson
That's what I
in
was
the eyes.
thinking. I was like, Sam
and
Jackson
say
was
it.
just kind of like...
Yeah, that one dialogue, he just kept repeating
I
the
feel like
word
Samuel
every
Jackson like, say it
time.
one more again.
I don't even know if
It
Sam was
looked like he was
actually
about to laugh.
on
Sam
set.
Jackson, it looked like he was about to
That
laugh
scene.
when he was drinking the coffee.
Yeah.
No, he was literally talking the same
He
thing.
was shooting. I mean, I know, but they were literally shooting Quentin Tarantino. He might not have actually literally been screaming it at him, but at the same time, it doesn't really matter. I mean, he's screaming talking about dead nigga stories, like
exactly, dead nigga story, very comfortable.
But at the same time, like he's not justifiably pissed. Like it's 8 o'clock in the morning in the valley, and you guys drive into my house with
he doesn't want his black wife to come home to see a dead black guy.
I know he wouldn't say that word in front of her.
He wouldn't have said that.
He wouldn't have said it in front of her.
That actually would be a funny thing. I want to see that.
Okay, so what'd you call me?
There's a sign that says dead story and shit. Dead people story.
Ninja story.
I mean, maybe the conflict of like you know, I don't know, him using so freely and Sam Jackson actually being his friend.
Mm-hmm.
It seemed like it didn't make too much sense. But other than that, I mean, like, it seemed
like why?
It's also 80s, right?
But we also,
Yeah.
it's the 80s.
Yeah.
I know that like, I don't think it became more stigmatized until the 90s, but I could be wrong.
Oh, it was stigmatized. By the time niggas was free, white people saying niggas was stigma.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, like, it wasn't, like, till later that, like, you know, people are like, you really, like, can't use that.
You won't see it in movies or anything like you're saying. Like you would hear it in the '90s movies too. Even in late '80s movies, you'll hear it a lot, and you'll hear it in '90s movies. It's not like it's a surprise thing. It's just Quentin Tarantino seems like he knows what's going on. He doesn't seem racist. And he says like stuff, but then you gotta remember he's offending all types of people, man. Like,
Yeah, that's what I'm about.
Christians watching this guy, you know, having gay sex on the screen. They're like, yo, they got a gimp and another guy watching it getting off, and this guy's actually it's not willing. It's rape too on top of it. But you know
they address it too.
You know what I mean? So
which I like.
It's definitely a situation where it's not necessarily. I don't feel like he's trying to offend groups just to offend them, but he definitely is still more like, hey, this is in the world.
Yeah.
And if you guys don't highlight it and you guys give me a platform, I'm gonna highlight it.
Because the breakfast scene, when they were talking about robbing different places, they talked about the Jewish people and the Asian people.
Yeah.
It's like,
So we're gonna go in for a little bit. But I mean, honestly, you know, I would really appreciate it if he stopped at this point because I got it. You know what I mean? Like, at this point, we got Inglourious Basterds. You know, we got everybody.
There's probably not going to be a one N-word in his latest movie because it's about the Hollywood.
In Marilyn Manson.
Why wouldn't it be?
Not Marilyn
Why wouldn't the N-word be in Hollywood?
Charles Manson and Marilyn Manson.
All right, fair enough. But I mean, I don't mind.
I just wanted to talk about it for a minute just because it's funny. And I know it's good.
He was going in on it though. He was going in.
But I understand though, when you want to get into people, when you want to get into period accuracy, you want to represent characters the way that they are, and make them interesting as well, and make them multi-layered instead of just being these picture perfect ass people on the screen. When people are not picture perfect, like I get it completely.
And other movie makers aren't doing it. You know, I mean, otherwise, I mean, we're saying nigga all the time for something, but other movie makers aren't doing that. They're saying nigga on the screen. So if you do say nigga on the screen, you are going to get the attention whether or not you like it or not. And Quentin Tarantino.
And this is like one of the only movies where it's not like trying to be blatantly racist. It's just like common speak. This is how he's just speaking in the house.
That's what and that's what he was saying in those interviews too. He's like, nah, I'm just trying to be as real as possible on my films. But I mean, I personally don't 100% like it. But I mean, I don't care. I'm not really offended when I was watching it.
It was funny.
And that's how it should be. You should be sitting there like, I mean, you know, I don't like that you do it, but I get why you do it. Nuance.
I want to know.
I want to know why they use 666 for the lock on the.
He's a sick freak.
On the.
Like I said, he's trying to offend everybody. Well, maybe it's like money in there. You know,
I thought it was like gold bricks, right? It had to be like
gold bricks.
But they have money in them.
But it's just like something that people would kill for.
Yeah, I feel like it had to be gold bricks.
I think it's hilarious too that that's still seen that way because from what I remember, 666 actually isn't the number.
For the devil?
Yeah, it's not. It's not actually the number. I can't remember what it was, but it's supposed to be like something completely different.
We should Google some stuff.
We should Google it.
I thought that it was like because Sam Jackson was clearly delivering this Ezekiel line all the time, and it was like a juxtaposition or like.
I guess that makes sense.
Murking people. So didn't they have enough of that in the Crusades?
That shit went full circle at the end though. He was like, I was saying it because I thought it was just a cool shit to say to motherfuckers before I killed them. But I thought about it. And it was that last scene of his
was really good. Yeah.
Like I was rocking with it. Sam killed that shit.
So
I can't believe he let him walk away with $1,500.
I know. He said, "I will shoot you if you let him run."
Come on. What do you guys say that theme restaurant exists?
I wish it would.
A Pulp
I would
Fiction
love
restaurant?
it. Yeah.
No, the theme restaurant that they went on the date.
Yeah.
Like in the past and stuff.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah.
That would have been
I would go
dope.
there too.
Yeah,
But I wonder if it's like updated now.
I mean,
Because
once
like
they got the
with
cars.
the like pass now, because
I
that's
just-
Oh,
like,
you're talking
I
about
just
the one
want
that
the
John
card
Travolta
table.
and old girls
I
in.
just want to sit in the card table.
Try to get that trophy.
That, no, I would clearly get the trophy.
I'ma do the
dancing better
dance.
than
I'ma do the
John
dance for them.
Travolta too.
We had fun though.
Cause you're right. It would be updated to like up to the 90s at least.
You think so? Yeah.
No.
something like I don't think it would be as far back as the 50s though.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, they should keep it. I kind of like it.
One of the people should be Keanu Reeves. That's all I'm saying.
Keanu Reeves as John Wick.
One of the
And I
mayors.
want it to
Keanu
just
Reeves.
be Keanu Reeves.
You're not just
So many Keanu Reeves.
Wow, you look like Keanu Reeves. Thanks. I get that a lot.
And then it really is him.
Final thoughts, everybody.
Excited.
Final thoughts before we do our rose ratings.
I liked it.
It's very good. Quentin, don't retire.
Don't. Please don't.
I really enjoyed it. It actually held my attention the whole time. I liked how the shots were. Like I said earlier about how at the beginning where it was just on, you could tell it's just on rails and it's just really slight, but it is dramatic. And he also likes to do shots of what would seemingly be insignificant things. So like when John Travolta and Uma Thurman are shaking hands, they have a close-up specifically of them shaking hands. I just kind of noticed that right off the bat. I've always really liked Quentin Tarantino, and I'm kind of ashamed I haven't seen this movie, and I can see why it's iconic to people.
Yeah, facts. I'm definitely in that boat where like I've had respect for Quentin Tarantino since I've seen Django Unchained and just understanding where he's at with filmmaking as a whole. I've seen a lot of scenes and dissected some of them for filmmaking stuff, but now seeing this, I do understand. I want to dive into more of his stuff for real. He's got a voice. I'm fucking with it.
No.
I was waiting for that. I was waiting for that.
None of that. I don't know what. No.
This is filed under things that Naeem
listen,
hates,
we don't gotta
which
go
is
into
Pulp
this.
Fiction and Tessa Thompson.
Really?
It's more of an acting thing with her. It's not a person at all.
Wait, we need to speak
I
about
don't know
this
who she
Tessa
is
Thompson
personally.
thing. What happened with there?
I watched Creed and I was like, yo, if this girl could don't stop being on my screen right now. It was like, yo, she was like the worst like love interest in Creed like I've ever seen in my life. And then in Valkyrie, it was like, dude, like, I mean, she played Valkyrie. I was like,
You made him
man.
go there.
Like she did. I have nothing to do with that. Look, with Quentin Tarantino,
I
it's
need
like,
to
bro,
know.
it's not my fault. Like, it's not my fault he didn't have an actual story. He had a bunch of interesting scenes and interesting mini stories. It's
Yeah,
like,
see,
look, you want to make a
what I'm
feature
saying,
film, get a whole story together and give
But
it
this
to
is
me.
like
Don't give me
what's
a
the
bunch of
story?
little
He
stories.
just he's
Give
the
me
only
like-
movie where it's not
Look,
like a
they
direct
give me
story.
like
though.
40-minute stories, and they all look good. And so what if they were connected or not? I didn't learn anything from this. Who learned something from this Pulp Fiction other than there's some wild stuff happening in LA? It's like, come on, son, like
Sometimes that's the best.
Sam Jackson's
is,
character
yeah.
is
It's
the
some
only
wild
person
shit.
that actually developed. I think
I
Marcellus
know
Wallace.
cocaine's bad. Okay.
You mad because you
Mix it
can't
with heroin.
find no definable character arcs or anything.
I just want
like
somebody
that.
to like.
Well,
I want
there's
a
Sam
story, a
for
character
that.
to follow. You know what I mean? But I can't follow any characters.
But they just said Sam.
Sam, that's the character arc.
It's
He was the most likable character in the
He
film.
spends one day. Okay, there's like 4
That was
days.
like 2 days,
There's
bro.
like 4 days, 3-4 days that happen in the story. He retires after the first day. Okay, he's the smartest man that got out of this film like immediately.
After however long he's been working
All I'm
for.
just
He did
saying.
one morning.
All
of
I'm
work,
just saying.
and then he was gone. So
That
that's
speech
all
at the end where he's like, we could both be the good guy, or you could be the good guy and I'm the shepherd. But actually, you're the weak one, and I am the tyranny of evil men. But I'm trying to be the shepherd. I'm like, damn.
I don't
nigga,
know if
that's what the movie
Tarantino
is.
just produced Grindhouse, but I'm pretty sure he did direct From Dawn to Dusk, because that one's pretty good with George Clooney. But if he didn't direct it, it's like George Romero or something like that, then yeah, sure, whatever.
You like that better than
I
this
like that one.
Let
better
us
than
know
this.
in the comments.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. Before we have to wrap this up, we're gonna go from Jazz to myself. Out of
sad.
5 roses, how many roses do you give?
Oh, we're doing roses.
Yes, we do roses over here.
I give it a 4. I really liked it. So yeah, I give it a 4.
Because it's Quentin, I give it 5.
Yep, I'd give it a 4. 4 out of 5.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give it a 1.
No, outside of my personal opinion, you guys are right. You should get like a 4. Like, the directing is good. The cinematography was great. Like, the acting was amazing. It's just like, go see it. Go see it and see if you like it yourself. I mean, see if it has a story, and if it does, you can tell me what it is.
That's an objective man.
And I'm gonna go ahead and give it a 3.8.
Really?
Oh.
I did really like it.
A couple pedals, but
I'm gonna knock some off just because I don't think it was as tight as it could have been in some instances. I do think it took a lot of liberty somewhere. I do think it drew a couple things out. But overall, it was still really phenomenal. The acting was all really well done. I liked a lot of the shot choices and things of that nature. So I'm definitely rocking with it hardcore. But emotionally, I guess I just wasn't into it. I was interested, but my heart wasn't there, you know? So 3.8.
Good.
All right. Make sure you come back next month to check out our next filmcast where we'll be watching I Don't Know Yet, and neither do you, and you'll find out.
I don't know yet.
Peace.
Peace.
Bye.